The following podcast is brought to you by NT2099 Media and Entertainment and is part of the ENT Radio Network. You're listening to Toy Hunters with your host, Kennedy.
Target has been sighted. Hey, what's up everyone? You're listening to Up of Toy Hunters. Today is Sunday, January 15th, 2006. How's everyone doing today? Well, it's been a slow 2 weeks. Usually, my original plan was to have another podcast out on the 8th, but it seems like it has been a little dry at the department stores in terms of getting figures in. And I felt like, maybe it's best if I wait another week to see if anything happens. But to tell you the truth, the main story pretty much last week was just the Walmart and Target resets, where a lot of things were on clearance. Pretty much you saw really good deals, especially like the big Transformer Cybertrons going down in price. There were reports that one purchased one at $12. In my area, I was able to find some at $26 or so. So about, literally about $10 or $14 off, which is good, but it seems like a lot of people snatched them up around that price point. So really, there was nothing below $20. Also, what I saw in Target in terms of clearance were pretty much the Batman 3-in-1 Batmobiles. They were about $14.99, and people pretty much snatched those up at that price point. And the other one were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I forgot what the vehicle was called. It's the one that shoots out liquid, I believe. But that one went down to $9. Pretty much visited Target just a few days ago to see what else was on clearance. And pretty much everything was sold out. They still had a few more of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right now, the sale was pretty much at 75%. But really, there's not much left over. There were a lot of the Star Wars, what do you call those cases. And right now, they're at 75% off. So they cost about $250. But if no one purchases them this week, I was told they may go up to 90%, so I think that would be really cool to buy them at that price point at 90% off. Probably get quite a few of those. As Target had a really good reset and clearance aisle, Walmart did as well. A lot of their stuff was on sale. In my area, there's quite a bit of stuff that I saw there. Mainly, let's see here. I know with Target, they had figures around $250. There's just very few that I saw, and they were really they had bad paints. But with the one I saw in Walmart, they had the DVD sets that were released when the movie came out on DVD. They had all three, which I was surprised to see, and they were clearance to see. The original price was $9.99, and I think they went down to $6 something. And the same as the clone packs as well. Also saw quite a bit of the 15th, well not the 15th, but the 50th or 500th figure of Darth Vader. Actually, quite a bit of stuff on sale. So, I think Walmart really had really good deals for the Star Wars stuff. Didn't see much Transformers there. I did see some of the Cybertrons on sale. Some of them went for what? The original price for some of those are $6.99 and $9.99. So I think I saw them go down to $4.99. But I actually saw those. I saw the Transformers Energon stuff, some old stuff, down as low as like $1.99, I think. So there's some good stuff right there. There were also reports that the Transformers alternators were on sale. I didn't see any on sale in my area. They were still regular price. So, really nothing. Nothing, just the resets. So Target and Walmart. Then Tower Records had their 50% off sale, and then later this week they had their 60% off sale of what was still out there. People said they found quite a bit of stuff, ranging from Family Guy figures to some, I think they were horror-based figures going for as low as $4.99. I think a few people found some DC Directs there, which is cool. The other sale was at Hot Topic, and I think this one was the best one that I've seen so far. For those of you who collect Soda Street Fighter figures, the Wave 3s and a few of the Wave 2s were on sale. They were just marked down this week for Street Fighter figures down to $6.99. Original price for those were $14.99. So $6.99, and then they had the 50% off sale. So you got these figures at $3.50 or something like that. At Hot Topic, the only figures that I've seen that were on sale were the Soda Street Fighter figures. You got the Sin City figures, the Pirates of Caribbean figures, the Mortal Kombat figures, the Apple, those kind of wicked goth-looking dolls. They were on sale. Those were usually, $40, and now they're down to $8.99. The Adult Swim, they were also marked down to $6.99, and 50% off. That's $3.50. So there's quite a bit of stuff there that was on sale at Hot Topic. And if anything, it seems like the main interests were, of course, the Street Fighter figures, the Sin City figures, and the Invader Zim figures. So good luck and congratulations to those who were able to find some. At my area, there was about enough for 5 sets of the Street Fighter. They had Street Fighter Wave 3 and many camis. Interesting, though, is that the older Wave 2s with Ken and Vega were not on sale. So I never really understood that. Sin City, there were not that many left over as well. I picked up the Mihos, the color and the black and white version, Ken and no, it was not Ken. I think it was Kevin and Wendy, and was able to pick those up. Invader Zims, again, another figure that was originally $14.99. Great to get those at $3.50 as well. Even the sets and the exclusives, the Germ Fighting, I think it's called, Invader Zims, those were also down to $3.50. So you may want to check your local Hot Topic. I'm not sure how much longer this sale is going to be, but I think they're going to get quite a bit of stuff in. So the only thing I wish, though, was that I wish that the Family Guy stuff was on sale. According to the person that I spoke to, they had a sale during Christmas, but unfortunately, some problem with communication that they didn't mark them down to 50% off. So if that was the case, I would have picked up quite a few of those because, Family Guy fan, and definitely would like to pick up quite a few of those figures, especially some of the ones I missed in Wave 2. As far as my toy hunt is concerned, still no Marvel Legends 12. It seems that the targets that I called, they said they got them in just, right before Christmas, and they have not seen any shipments since. I asked about the X-Men, the X-Men, I think the Legends or X-Men Classics, whatever they're called. They said that they only seen one case, and that was also before Christmas. So no sightings of the new X-Men figures, no sightings of the Marvel Legends 12 this week or last week as well. So I hear the good news for those who have gone to Toys R Us this past weekend or the last 3 days. I believe the Fantastic Four figures have come out, so I think that's great. Everyone's trying to look for the variant scrolls, and not sure how difficult they are. It seems that people are finding all the other figures, but not too many people that I talked to who have purchased the line are really picking up the other figures or just in it for the variants. So that's quite interesting. Another thing is the G.I. Joe Sigma 6 was able to find a Cobra Commander, and also the Snake Eyes with Ninja Armor. Picked up the long range, I think 3 weeks ago, but was happy to finally find that. The only thing that I had a problem is I actually found it earlier at a KB's, but KB's had it for $19.99, and the prices for the Commando series are usually $14.99. Interesting thing though is that there are interesting price ranges or pricing for these Sigma 6 figures. Commandos, those are the ones that usually have the nice cases and the cool accessories, and the figures are usually outfitted with clothing, actual real clothing, and those usually go up to $14.99. Everywhere else I found them at that price except KB's, which was $19.99. Now for the Soldier series, the packaging is really they're not as good as Commandos, of course. They don't have the plastic and the plastic headers and footers, or actually the top and bottom things to make the case, and the figures really don't have any clothing. I think Kamakura has just barely a little bit, but really the clothing is just painted on. These figures pretty much cost about $9.99 at Walmart, but everywhere else I found them at $11.99, so that's really interesting. In terms of DC, people are actually finding the DC superheroes at their Targets, which is pretty cool. I managed to pick those up at Walmart when they first came out. But it seems like people are looking for the Bane with the teddy bear with Ostedo. So I haven't seen one yet. In terms of online, I think one of the biggest, the coolest deals that I found was the sale for the variants, the Marvel Legend variants of Marvel Legends 10, Cyclops and the Angel, the blue outfits, where they were pretty much going they were on Amazon for $9.99, and of course some people decided not to do it because they figured last time they tried, I think it was the Dark Phoenix figure, and a lot of them had their orders canceled because they didn't have any in stock or they sold out. So a lot of people didn't want to take the chance of doing it again, but I figured, what the heck, let's give it a try, and I did. They were pretty much going for $9.99. Put my order about just a few days before the new year, and got the shipment yesterday. And what do you know? They're there. So I think this is good news for Marvel Legends fans, and if Amazon and Toys R Us continues to do this by offering variants at cost, I think that's remarkable. That's great, and hopefully we can get access to that. Would love to get a Marvel Legends 12 Bald Bishop, and also a Iron Fist and red outfit, Wendigo, and X-23 and purple outfit, and so forth. So we'll see. We'll see if Amazon and Toys R Us will continue that. As for KBs, yes, they do have expensive prices, and sometimes the best deal you can get is usually right before Christmas or when they have those clearance sales. But one thing that I have found for those of you who collect G.I. Joe and are looking for vehicles for your dioramas, a lot of people who do that say that the Elite Force vehicles are the best things to get. And the cost of these are usually $19.99, but when you go to the KB online store, you see them listed as $19.99. But when you click on it, it says that the price of them now is $6.99. That's a very, very, very good price for these. I think the tank is the only one that was not $6.99. It went down to $9.99, but that's still pretty good. But all in all, it has been a slow toy hunting 2 weeks. There really isn't anything remarkable that I was looking for that I could find. That is, no Marvel Legends 12. But I think the big thing for me this week was that I did find that Cobra Commander and actually the second Commando set for G.I. Joe Sigma 6. Cobra Commander long range Snake Eyes with ninja armor. Those are pretty cool figures out there, so definitely recommend checking those out. Anyway, we got quite a bit of stuff to talk about today, from Hasbro taking over the Marvel line in 2007, some things about G.I. Joe Sigma 6, a little debate on that, and a few more other stuff. So before we take a commercial break, let's go ahead and play a few classic toy commercials.
Long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, the Star Wars saga began, and Kenner continues the excitement.
Chewbacca's roar!
It's C-3PO that you can take apart, and other action figures each sold separately.
Take me to Han Solo and Princess Leia. What happened? Han, Leia, sneak attack. I'm all in pieces. What a mess. Put him down, Chewie. How's that, C-3PO? Wonderful.
Han Solo, C-3PO with backpack and other action figures each sold separately from Kenner Star Wars Return of the Jedi collection.
You can pretend. Stealing powers where she's at. A very wild but pretty cat. That's Catra. And here's lovely Frosta, true blue friend of She-Ra. Dolls each sold separately. When Catra shows her catty side, Frosta can breathe her inside. The fate of the world's in the hands of these beautiful girls. Princess of power. Catra and Frosta dolls each sold separately. She-Ra doll also sold separately. New from Mattel.
Super GoBots, the mightiest GoBots of all. Stax, Leader 1 and Psykill sold separately.
Think you're big enough for the king of the road? Try me.
Mighty robots, mighty vehicles, robots.
Too big, Stax. Not so fast, Psycho. Thanks, buddy.
Super GoBots, Stax, Leader 1 and Psykill each sold separately from Tonka.
What is the Orange Lounge Radio To Go edition? It's all the news that video gamers really want to know about.
Yeah, it's all about the news about games that don't suck.
Well, what's a podcast? It's a recorded show that you can subscribe to, so you always get the news first.
And you don't have to have an iPod to listen to it either. Winamp, Windows Media Player, it's all good.
I'm Rob Roberts, and every week on the Orange Lounge Radio To Go edition, I'll bring you news about what's going on in the gaming world. From next-generation gaming to current classics you know and love, we'll give you the news and talk about the effects the news can have on the scene.
I'm Jamie Summers, and every week on Orange Lounge, I'll be here to give you my honest input on the news. When gaming lawsuits are the issue, or a new law is on the table that could affect the gaming world, we'll be here to help you understand how the result could affect you. Also, tune in for my advice column every week, because gamers, if you stay indoors and play video games all day long, you'll never be able to go out and get laid.
I'm Loki, and every week on Orange Lounge Radio To Go, I'll keep you posted on the latest in gaming gear, from hacks to mods to cracked to emulation. We'll be here to give you an uncensored view of what people on the internet are up to. And tune in to find out what geeks of the world install Linux on next. Join us at www.orangeloungeradio.com for all the information you need to subscribe to our show.
Click on the link that says Orange Lounge Radio To Go on the left side of the page for all the info you need.
And send us an email if you have any comments or suggestions to go@orangeloungeradio.com.
Check out the World of Anime on podcast for discussions on all-around anime fandom. For more information or to tune in, visit the World of Anime website at worldofanime.project760.com and start otakuing with us.
We love you, ladies.
We love you a long time.
You turn girls off?
Yes, we turn girls off because you guys aren't needed for this.
Alan, I don't know about you, but I need girls.
Girls.
They're not needed for this.
You're ruining the way for
girls. OtakuGeneration.net, letting you see how crazy we really are. Catch us every Wednesday for news, reviews, and stuff you can use for the otaku in you.
How are you doing tonight?
What is Jawbone?
Welcome to Jawbone. This is going to be kind of a laid-back show. Sometimes you just open up the mic, you don't really know what to say.
I got a couple of things I can throw your way. I always prepare. I try to be prepared.
The BBC calls Jawbone the podcast Jerry Seinfeld would have made had he settled down in Cleveland with 5 children.
I smell like kielbasa. Or like a ham sandwich.
Hey, what's up with the foreigners?
Witty. Funny. Hilarious. Says the guy reading this promo.
Down with Adam Chicken Curry.
Is it a Sasquatch or is it more of a skunk ape? Did I dial 911? I meant to dial 911. Hang on, let me hang up.
It's like eavesdropping on your neighbors, says Lynn and Nora's neighbor.
Because we weren't talking about racy topics.
Oh, yeah, that's
like
right.
all married people do. I just can't even talk to a married person who isn't talking about something racy.
From the streets of Cleveland comes Jawbone Radio with Lynn and Nora. Listen in at jawboneradio.com and find out. What is Jawbone anyway?
Yeah, it's kicking, it's rocking, it's, stick it in your ear and listen to it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Hunters. It is now 10:07 p.m. Took a few hours of a break to catch the new season of 24, and man, that was awesome. I can't wait for tomorrow's continuing episode of the 4-hour premiere. But 24 action figures. What do you think about that? Probably not going to work. Anyway, there's a lot of discussion going on right now on various action figure forums regarding Hasbro. As many of you have heard, Hasbro has acquired the license to do many, or actually, I'm not sure if many or if all, the Marvel figures and toys starting in 2007. And a lot of fans of toy business work wonder what will happen to Marvel Legends. Will Hasbro continue the Marvel Legends and the quality of the figures? There's just a lot of questions going on right now, and let's take a look at a lot of what Hasbro has produced. My gosh, of course, the most popular line would have to be Star Wars. And, of course, there's Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Play School. A lot of toys created by Hasbro. And, they are one of the kings of, toy making. But people wonder, does this mean that the Marvel line will follow a lot of trends that they do with their other figures? And let's take a look at a few figures that Hasbro does make. With G.I. Joe, and what people wonder is, with G.I. Joe Sigma 6, we are seeing, instead of creating new figures, we're seeing a lot of variations of a character. And it's similar. It's not that different with Toy Biz, what they're doing right now with Wolverine, because I'm sure we've seen so many Wolverines already, as with Spider-Man and so forth. So there's not much of a big difference with that. But when you look at the quality of the figures, there's always people who will have a problem with the G.I. Joe Sigma 6 line. I enjoy it, but people who are loyal to the 3 3/4 line, I can understand. But let's talk about that, the 3 3/4 line, the new Hasbro, direct-to-consumer G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero figures. And I can tell you right now, I'm a bit unpleased with how the quality of some of the figures are coming out. With the 3-packs and the new waves that are coming out, right around the leg area, right where the seam is, in the front of the thigh, there's a split and a hole, and I'm quite surprised because G.I. Joe is not exactly one of their cheapest lines. 3-packs run anywhere from $11.99 to $14.99, and their single packs, if you look online, about $7.99. And when you buy figures and when you go out to a store, you have, of course, the opportunity to look and compare with many figures, and if the paints are good. Majority of you who are probably listening to this podcast try to go for the ones that are, really good on the sculpt, really good in terms of the paint on the figure. But somehow, when you deal with direct-to-consumer and deal with online purchases, you really don't have that luxury to compare. You just take it as big company should be quality, and there should be major quality control with the company. But somehow, as much as I'm a big fan of G.I. Joe, I'm really a little ticked about how so many figures I've bought have that split and that hole right in the leg areas, and I'm just wondering what's going on with quality. And of course, many people, who are familiar with the line really well on the TNI forums, they said that the molds are being reused, and that is one of the reasons. So, I don't know. But one thing I don't want to see, because, Hasbro deals with mass production of a lot of their figures, is that you wonder if they're going to use, cheaper materials. I could tell you, for me to see that little seam in the hole with the G.I. Joe figures, you see the you see a big difference from the older figures where the plastic was a little more, a little harder, and I don't know if there's any hollow pieces, but I was a little displeased about that at first. Maybe it's cheaper plastic, I don't know. I know diehards for Transformers. A lot of them say that they don't really like the plastic of the, how a lot of the Transformers are now made of almost all plastic. And that's why a lot of them go for the imports, because they still want that die-cast metal. That's what I grew up with for Transformers, Shogun Warriors, and even Voltron. Now, you look at the Marvel Legends and the quality over the past 5 years, and it's probably within Series 8 through 11, 8 was a good series. The base, the figures, in my opinion, they were really well done. You go on to 9, and 9 is actually pretty good as well. Not that bad. 10, 10 I have had no complaints. I think if anything, well, actually no. I'll take that back. With 10, Cyclops is a figure where you really have to look for a good painted Cyclops, and those were one of the complaints. Cyclops, Sinister, and people had problems with the female version of Mystique and her figure, and of course with the 11s, people are really upset with the quality of those figures, and you've heard different things about how they were trying different plants to produce the toys, and all I can say is Marvel fans or the collectors of Marvel Legends are quite vocal. So imagine if I would imagine that if Hasbro doesn't go a route of making cheap Marvel figures, I'm sure the Marvel collectors will definitely bring some fury out to them, because this is one license that I don't think they should take lightly, and look at as mass production, just targeted for the kids, and it's just cheap. Just use cheap materials and get them out there. It's all about making money, and I know with many of the toys, yes, that is the target, the children. But as many of you know, Marvel Legends are pretty much bought by adults, teenagers, adults, and if there are children who do own it, that's great. That's great. But as you can see them flying off the shelves right now, that usually that tells me that the majority of the people who are buying it are collectors or scalpers. So, it's not like the DC line where you can make, so many variations of Batman in fluorescent colors. That's something I don't want to see. That happened with the G.I. Joe line in the, I think the early 90s, and even till, even I guess through the whole 90s, when missiles started becoming fluorescent orange and fluorescent green, and that was just terrible. So, in my opinion, Hasbro is such a big company, and I guess it depends on the buyer. But the thing is, with Marvel, you got finicky fans, and I guess we'll have to wait and see how things turn out in 2007. Big question is what will happen with Toy Biz now. Toy Biz still has the TNA wrestling, but yeah, it is a big loss to lose such a major license such as Marvel. Toy Biz has been around, for so long. I remember when Toy Biz used to do the Marvel Superheroes line, and I've been collecting Toy Biz Marvel and Toy Biz DC for a long time now. And I'm hoping that the company manages to stay afloat. So hopefully within 2006 we'll see the best created figures, made for the Marvel Legends line. And if anything, hopefully people will have access to that stuff, because as mentioned earlier in the segment, I don't think a lot of us have found Marvel Legend 12s since, before Christmas, and, we should hopefully see them at more stores around next month or so. The other question, or the other topic that, I'm seeing quite a bit on the online forums is in regards to G.I. Joe Sigma 6, and, your feelings about the line. Is it G.I. Joe? Because, as many of you have noticed, G.I. Joe Sigma 6 has got the Gonzo treatment. Gonzo is one of my favorite production companies in Japan, and they create really, really good quality anime. But I don't think a lot of people are a lot of diehard fans are not too happy about G.I. Joe going, anime style. And to tell you the truth, it doesn't bother me that much. Do I consider G.I. Joe Sigma 6 G.I. Joe? And there was one post on T9 saying G.I. Joe Sigma 6 is becoming more like 24, like the CTU, counterterrorism unit, more than a military, type of, line. What can I say? G.I. Joe has had its moments even back in the 80s. I really loved the early G.I. Joe 1982 through 1984 line. And what can I say? Back then, our only Army toys were the Army Men, your plastic Army Men. And when G.I. Joe came out, and we had these cool, these cool people with these cards really written well, riding their military vehicles. You had a cartoon, you had a comic book, and it was quite exciting. But then, things have changed with the addition of the Dreadnoks, and people love them, people hate them. It depends on on you. But for me, I think when I start seeing Zartan. And, the Zartan, depending how he's written, he could be a really dark, evil person. But when they start adding the mystical stuff of Chameleon, and then they started, adding Serpentor with a guy wearing this big old serpent outfit and around his head, you kind of wonder, well, I don't know about that. What happened to my original military-based G.I. Joe? So you have your collectors who are diehard with a G.I. Joe 12-inch line, and as you know, there's a lot of, if you go to KB's especially, you'll see the re-release or the anniversary sets of those, those 1964 figures made again. And if you go to the stores right now, you see a lot of the Lanard and Elite Force and many variations of Army figures. And I think even places like Walmart and Kmart have these generic Army figures, 12 inches and 12 inchers and the vehicles and so forth. But G.I. Joe Sigma 6, it's I still see it's still the characters that you come to love. You have your Duke, you have Scarlet, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and they're all there. But this is my feeling, is that G.I. Joe, the feeling that I had as a kid of enjoying G.I. Joe, it was pretty much the time. we really didn't really have that much when I think about it. But when the Transformer lines came out, the Masters of the Universe came out, you pretty much moved on. And for kids these days, they have so many choices. But the way that these G.I. Joe Sigma 6 figures are being packaged with so many accessories, they look cool. The packages are just so awesome. But they're a bit expensive. But still, I think, if I was a kid, I would say, dang, these toys are so awesome. I would rather have a G.I. Joe Sigma 6 than a Batman EXP with fluorescent colors or something like that. I mean, that's my opinion. But, G.I. Joe Sigma 6, I gave it a try, and, as I mentioned in a earlier podcast, had no interest in getting it before, but, gave it a chance, and you know what? I think it's one of the best toy lines out there right now. Marvel Legends is great, Star Wars is great, Transformers, I love the alternators, but the Cybertron, I'm still not totally into it yet, but I really think that G.I. Joe Sigma 6 are really cool, really awesome figures. It just now depends if they could have enough enemies, if they will release the female characters, and instead of doing variations of characters, having more characters being created. I don't want to see, a different Snake Eyes with every wave. I don't want to see a different Duke with every wave. And that's what's happening right now. So that kind of sucks. But, sign of the times, G.I. Joe. This is a G.I. Joe for kids. I know some people say, well, they should just make the 3 3/4 line and let the kids enjoy them, but they happen. Valor vs. Venom was out there, was in Targets, was in Walmart, and, I think a lot of us adults really bought those, but did a lot of kids buy them? I don't know. What's the sales figures on those? I have no idea. But obviously, I can tell you in my area, they said that they had to put a lot in clearance because they weren't selling. Sigma 6, it took a while. I can tell you right now, those things were really on really on the pegs, and no one was buying them for a while because they were very expensive. But now they're really selling out, and I think that collectors have looked at the series and are giving it a try. Whether or not it will last long, I don't know, because all we are seeing in terms of animation are just replays. So knock on wood that we'll be seeing more support for the G.I. Joe Sigma 6 line. But at the same time, I will say that I do love my 3 3/4 G.I. Joe, and I want to see more vehicles, more waves. But there's a lot of rumors circulating that after Wave 5, they're going to stop for a while. They're not going to make any more vehicles, and if that's the case, that really sucks. There were several years of a gap in the G.I. Joe line, 1994, and I think it was 1997, and I think the next was 2000 or so. So, I don't know. I would like to see all 3 different versions of G.I. Joe exist for certain collectors. Those who enjoy the Sigma 6 line, those who enjoy the Real American Hero line, and those who enjoy the old school G.I. Joe line. So hopefully they'll continue that. And, by the way, there's a G.I. Joe convention I'm not sure what date it is, but you want to check the Toy Hunters website at nt2099.com/Toy Hunters, and you can get more information on that. Or actually, a better one is go to yojo.com, and you can get more information on that. Also, visit the TNI forums on the G.I. Joe forum section, and you could also get a lot of information. Really good place to get information and to ask questions. And fellow Toy Hunters there will definitely help you out. They definitely helped me out. Anyway, we'll go ahead and take a commercial break, and we'll end our last segment with letters written by some of you, and we will be back after these messages.
Hello, I'm Wichita Rutherford from 5 Minutes with Wichita, and I'm here to tell you about the Podcast 411 podcast. Now, Rob, he interviews other podcasters to find out what they've learned about doing a podcast, and it's been described as inside the actor's studio, except it's for podcasts. His past guests include Adam Curry, he's the Podfather, Senator John Edwards, C.C. Chapman, PK&J, Bib and Yes, Chris Rockwell, and yours truly, Wichita Rutherford. That's just naming a few of them. Now, if you want to learn more about podcasting or podcasters, then you go over and visit them at podcast411.com. And remember, listen different with Podcast 411. It's just so precious.
Hi there, this is Todd, the host of the Geek News Central podcast, where I produce a twice-weekly show on technology that I label Tech for the Common Man. Join my family of listeners every Tuesday and Friday, where we not only talk technology, but also science, fair use, cool gadgets, and even helpful websites, and of course, major news items in the world of tech. Additionally, I strive to bring you great deals that will save you money. We have nearly weekly giveaways, and of course, I cover the world of podcasting. Please visit www.geeknewscentral.com today and subscribe to one of the most followed podcasts in technology. Aloha!
This podcast is a proud member of the TechPodcast.com network. If it's tech, it's here.
Firehouse Radio. We're not your mother.
Hey, this is Jim Getz at Firehouse Radio. If you like excitement, then you have to check out the Firehouse Radio Show. Action, talk, music, and more is what you'll hear on our weekly podcast, found exclusively on Firehouse.fm. Hey, we're firefighters doing radio right. Tell them, Chef.
What's the matter, children? It's Firehouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Toy Hunters. And this final segment for this episode, we will read letters from our listeners. The first one is from Zombie. Zombie writes, sorry that you live in the Central Valley where they don't have crap for stores with figures. I was dumbfounded that you drive 40 minutes to your local TRUs. I live within a 10-minute walking distance of a Target. I've been pretty lucky as a collector. I kind of an uncanny sense of stopping at the right store at the right time, knock on wood. I try to avoid being at the store in the morning when they open with all the flannel clad. Hot Wheels collectors, God made Hot Wheels so toy hunters have a few seconds to beat them to the action figures. I'm a scalper hater. I refuse to overpay for figures on eBay. If I could, I would like to buy all the hard-to-find figs to sell to fans at purchase costs. By the way, your gallery link on your site doesn't work. Just fix that. So thanks, Keith, for letting me know. I remember as a kid buying a bunch of Transformers and G.I. Joes and then later selling them all in my teen years for pennies on the dollar at garage sales. Damn puberty, I still kick myself. I got back into figure collecting in college when in the first series of Spawn caught my eye and I was hooked. 13 years ago down in San Diego. Then Batman the Animated Series started and I continued with my addiction. I'm a closet figure collector with a paycheck enough to buy figures but needing to balance my spending with my large mortgage. My wife is surprisingly supportive. I'm one of those credit card charging collectors that tries to keep myself in check. I'm not a completist. I buy what I like. Example, bought the Spider-Man and the Black Panther Marvel figures because I like the figures and can create a busted Sentinel with head and shoulders. It will make a nice damaged background fig behind them. Don't seek out variants or exclusives. I get the variants and exclusives I like. I'm a pseudo-opener. I haven't opened my latest figures for a few years, probably 150 figures unopened, due to storage display space issues. Haven't categorized my figures yet. Will eventually index them in the action figure vault program I downloaded at www.figurevault.php. Figures I collect are mostly McFarlane, no sports figures, Simpsons, Playmates, rest in peace, resurrected with McFarlane, Batman, Justice League of America, very few Marvel Legends, choosy Marvel Direct and Select figures, minimal anime figures, lots of Family Guy, some NECA figures, some Soda figures, no Star Wars, no Transformers, no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, no Masters of the Universe, no other figures, must resist. I'm a cheap ass, always looking for the best deal. Really hard when I feel the need to get figures when they come out. Damn specialty stores with their high prices and early shipments of the latest figures. Must resist. I'm thinking of starting up AFA meetings soon. Action Figures Anonymous. Seriously, you have a problem. You must break your completist, non-opener, dual purchase, one-to-open addiction. Your podcast is a lot more in tune with my mindset of the listener than the other action figure podcasts. Just read action figure news. More old school commercials, please. Okay, writing too much. Thank you, Zombie. Awesome letter, Zombie. Thank you very much for writing. Zombie also puts a PS here. I like Sin City 2 and Family Guy figs from 2005, DC Direct Hush, and JLA figures. Looking forward to the epic Balrog for 2006 and the new Tool album. Yes, I know that is an album and not a figure. I bet Adam Jones is a closet collector. They have animated figures in their videos. I actually have all the figures I want up to now, really. I'm serious. Well, maybe a few figures I want if I can find them cheap. I keep telling myself I don't overspend. I just justify my spending somehow. I remember one time as a kid, I bought all the new G.I. Joe figures I could find at KB's Toys, and at one point in the 80s, I spent like $60 in one pop as an 11-year-old. And then he writes, no regrets except for the above overspending I've come to terms with. So, Marvel Legends equals too much articulation. We'll eventually have an online photo collection gallery. Peace out. Thank you, Zombie, for writing. First of all, just want to say that I checked out thefigurerealm.com. Very awesome. I think I should put my photos on there. Definitely would like to categorize my figures as well. Actually, things are pretty quite categorized, but I kind of worry that if I do leave my hosting, I lose all access to that, because I just pretty much put it in one of those photo album galleries that comes with your service. I guess what you get when you get web hosting. So I probably should move stuff to figurerealm.com now after I download the software. But yeah, actually we're in the same position. Pretty much when I was a kid, I had to sell my G.I. Joes, my Transformers, everything. My comic books. Parents didn't, want me to have it, and unfortunately, it's a sad story. I had so many cool comic books and so many cool action figures. But what happened is my parents were a little bit strict, and they didn't believe that kids who were growing up should have toys. So pretty much what happened was, for the toys, they threw out. As for the comic books, only way to get rid of them is through a friend of mine. His brother was going to buy his comic book collection for $300, and I said, that's cool. And next thing you know, they picked up the comic books. They said, on Friday we'll meet you and give you some money. And next thing you know, I found out that he didn't show up for school. I was asking, what happened to that guy? What happened to that? I haven't seen him for a while. And found out that the family and all of them transferred somewhere in the U.S. And so I lost my comic books, didn't get anything for it, and it left me in a position where I didn't want to see comic books for so many years, over a decade, or maybe even probably a decade and a half. I was so bitter. And I think it was until 1992 or so that a kid next door, he wanted video games, and since I'm a big collector, I used to buy a lot of Nintendo games, a lot of Sega games, and I kind of felt sorry for this kid because his family didn't make that much and all that. So he did have his large comic book collection, but it seems like he really wanted video games. So I figured with the Super Nintendo coming out, and actually no, the Super Nintendo did come out, and I was pretty much dedicated to that. I pretty much offered the whole Nintendo, my console, and all my games, and training for those comic books, and it worked out well. And then I started collecting comic books, and like yourself, the stuff I started collecting, around that time was the Star Wars Next Generation figures, and the other ones were Spawn, because Spawn was, Todd McFarlane's Spawn was the figures to get back then, and I think let's see here, that was the first years of that. Marvel Superheroes, whatever DC superheroes I could find, and I think that's pretty. Oh, the Batman animated series, of course. How can I forget that? So, definitely. I think we're both in the same position where we started around that same time. As for spending, I'll talk about that more in the next letter. And let's see here. What else do you write? I thank you for the offer. I'll write you. Pretty much, it's all good. It's just, actually, I'll answer this email in regards to the question that another person wrote. Let me get to that email. And it's from Jim. Jim writes, Kennedy, I saw your collection. I just want to know, how are you storing your stuff? And big question, do you regret buying so many of these? Okay. Well, how should I answer that, Jim? I'm a non-opener, and I have spent quite a bit on those big bins. The biggest bins you could find, plastic bins you can find in Target. They pretty much run for like $16 or $17 per bin. I have many of them. Do I regret having them? Well, I don't. This is what I regret, actually. I don't regret having them. I regret that I don't really enjoy them like most people do, where people buy something, you play with their toys or display your toys. I don't do that. Mine are pretty much, you look at them and they're put in the bin, and stuff like my 1990 stuff I bought in 1992, the stuff I mentioned, I think I looked at it quite a few times throughout the last 15 years, but really, they're in boxes or bins, and I didn't really look back. I just said, oh, they're there, and it's almost like a lot of my comic books right now. The comic books, at least you read them, and I don't know. I talked to a few of my friends, quite a bit of my friends, about this thing called temporary happiness, because we all, share something in common where we buy DVDs that, we have so many, but we don't have the time to watch. My guy friends, we have a lot of video games, but we don't have enough time to play. And I think that somehow when you look at it almost psychologically, you tend to think maybe there's a reason why you're doing this. Could it be a depression? Could it be something in your childhood? Could it be something? And, pretty much I kind of pinpointed that, the reason why I have so many. And for Marvel, DC, G.I. Joe, Transformers, that stuff is something I had in my childhood, the Star Wars stuff, and it's things that I feel comfortable of getting them today. But there were some other lines where I said, why did I pick this up? I don't really collect that line. And those things I really regret, because I don't know why I did that. The other one is I regret not being strict in 2005 with my budget of action figures of my purchases, because I got into too many toy lines, and that can be very detrimental for people who really don't have the money. I'm a business owner, and fortunately, it's something that I can really buy, and it was no problem. But again, I kind of regret not having the same experiences of those who get to display them or get to play with them and so forth. But what else do I regret? I regret that buying so many and not being careful or being picky of what I get, because there's just some stuff that really takes up a lot of room. When you have, here's a problem that I'm having right now: the bins. I have storage out there, but I worry that putting out there, and with our type of heat, it may warp the packages and may destroy the figures. So far, I have them in my garage and in certain rooms. But the problem is that they're growing at a quick rate. And for those of you who have collected, the Marvel Legends stuff, you know already that probably one wave, if you're a I think, look at this. Let's talk about one bin that just happened recently. Okay, Marvel Legends 11. Okay, that's filled up with, that fills, probably 60% of a bin. Then the new Spider-Man that came out, Man, Wolf, Venom, and then that went there. And, some of the Barbie, Invisible Woman, and Mary Jane Parker, that went right there, and then Atom for Justice League. So the stuff really happens quickly, and that was just from one week of purchasing. And I'm like, if you're buying a lot, it really can be a killer. And some packages are thicker than others, and like those Dragon Ball figure sets, those big square ones that just take up a lot of room. It can be really crazy. I'm looking at another bin, Sigma 6, all Sigma 6, and these are those big giant bins, and you're just like, my gosh, this is just taking up a lot of space. And then after that, the Sigma 6 stuff, then if you collect any other G.I. Joes, then you pretty much fill that one up pretty quickly as well. So it's a difficult challenge of if you're a non-collector, or actually not a non-collector, I mean a non-opener, because space issues does become a major concern. And I know a lot of you, feel my pain. And I feel for you too, because space is a very big concern. And I don't think any of us have a real clear way of fixing that space, unless you sell stuff off, or you give it or donate it to someone, or like what I've been doing right now on TNI. I have all these extra Marvel Legends figures, which I'm selling at cost, and those are things that I look at as a way of trimming things down. So I can understand what a lot of people are going through. And yes, so those are my regrets, but I don't regret buying a large majority of the stuff that I got. I can tell you right now, the DC stuff that I got, the DC Direct stuff, to me, that's just classic. Those are just must-owns. I don't know. Just for me, I'm such a big DC Marvel fan. I don't regret it at all. But as for G.I. Joe, man, I can imagine those collectors who have the Holy Grail items, like the USS Flag. That one takes about, 3 bins? That thing was a big playset right there. Imagine the Star Wars collectors, because if they get into the vehicles, could you imagine? The TIE Fighter by itself and probably 4 other vehicles probably takes 1 bin. So if you're a mega collector, space considerations is a bitch. What can I say? And in my place, I got I had a storage built, but the thing is that I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I can't put my stuff in there because of heat, and I don't want things to be warped. So I don't know. Let me know, guys, if you put your stuff in storage, has heat really messed up your packages of your action figures or toys? Let me know. Email me at nt2099@gmail.com. But anyway, this episode has been running a little long, and you guys got to hear me babble. But also, I want people to check out other toy-related podcasts out there. AF Times has their own podcast. There's a Transformers. I think there's 2 Transformers that discuss toys. There's 16bit.com, which has their podcast. Sideshow Collectibles has their own podcast. So there's a Masters of the Universe podcast, and they talk about the animated series and the toys. So there's quite a bit of stuff out there. Definitely check out iTunes, and there's just type in toys or action figures, and you can find a pretty good list out there of podcasts. So that stuff should definitely keep you busy. A lot of them go into the news, and that's why I don't do it. So definitely check out those podcasts if you want the latest in industry news for toys and action figures. But I guess that's it. So you guys take care, and hopefully just be prepared. Don't spend too much, especially if you think you're going to be paying a lot in taxes this year. So try not to spend irresponsibly, and if you're a toy hunter, try not to buy everything on the pegs. Leave some for the kids out there or other collectors. So that's pretty much it. That's the advice of the week. So you guys take care. And definitely would like to hear some female input if you are a female listener and would like to hear the type of stuff you collect. And the last thing I could think about is Fantastic Four Classics. If you can't get them at TRU, if what happened with Marvel Legends happens with these Fantastic Four Classics, that means that you may be able to see them at your local Walmart or Target or Kmart within the next week or so. So, knock on wood, that happens. And you know what? I'll probably have a contest and probably do some video cast, probably reviews of certain figures and so forth. But enough babbling. You guys take care and enjoy the hunt. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.